And the last of our Alexander Whiny Boy trilogy is Alexander Who's Not, Do You Hear Me? I Mean It, Going to Move. And I think the reason that I pulled these three off of my shelf today is this is kind of the attitude, if I'm being completely honest, that my house has had a little bit today. And I'm not throwing anybody under the bus because I am probably the biggest culprit of them all. We have never in our lives spent this much time together. And so our patience is starting to wear thin. And the food supply is, they are very appreciative now of the school lunches where they at least have variety, and sharing the Wi-Fi, and just being in each other's space for this period of time. Yeah, our patience is starting to wear thin. So I'm just being completely honest with you, that if this is at all what your family is feeling, it's normal, but we are going to survive this. We are going to survive this. We're going to be better people at the end of it. I have begged for this amount of time with my family, and I got what I prayed for. And so, like it or not, this is our world. And I hope that you and your family are enjoying one another and learning how to live in each other's spaces. So for our last and final book, we have Alexander Who's Not, Do You Hear Me? I Mean It, Going to Move. Now this book was written in 1995, which, fun fact, Miss Karen was a senior the year that this book was written. I graduated in 96. So here we go. They can't make me pack my baseball mitt or my I Love Dinosaurs sweatshirt or my cowboy boots. They can't make me pack my ice skates, my jeans with 8 zippers, my compass, my radio, or my stuffed pig. My dad is packing. My mom is packing. My brothers Nick and Anthony are packing. I'm not moving. I'm not going to pack. My dad says that we have to move to where his new job is. That job is 1,000 miles away. My mom says we have to move to where our new house is. That house is 1,000 miles away. Right next door to the new house, there's a boy who is Anthony's age, and down the street, there's a boy who's the same age as Nick. There's no one next door or down the street, or maybe for 1,000 miles who is my age. I'm not, do you hear me? I mean it, going to move. I'll never have a best friend like Paul again. I'll never have a great sitter like Rachel again. I'll never have my soccer team or my carpool again. I'll never have kids who know me except my brothers, and sometimes they don't want to know me. I'm not packing. I'm not going to move. Nick says I'm a fool and should get a brain transplant. Anthony says I'm being immature. My mom and dad said that after a while I'll get used to living 1,000 miles from everything. Never, not ever, no way, N-O. I maybe could stay here and live with the Baldwins. They've got a big dog. I always wanted a dog. I maybe could stay here and live with the Rooneys. They've got 6 girls. They've always wanted a boy. I maybe could stay here and live with Mr. and Mrs. Oberdorfer. They always give out the very best treats on Halloween. I maybe could stay here and live by myself in maybe a treehouse or maybe a tent or maybe a cave. Nick says that I could live in the zoo with all the other animals. Anthony says I'm being immature. My dad says I should take a last look at all of the special places I've been. I'm taking a look, but it won't be my last. I looked at the Rooney's roof, which I once climbed out on, but then I couldn't climb back in until the fire department came and rescued me. I looked at Pearson's drugstore, where they once said that my mom had to pay them $80 when I threw a ball through their window. I looked at the lot next to Albert's house, where I once and for all learned to tell which and what poison ivy was. I looked at my school, where even Mrs. Knoop, the teacher that I once spilled the goldfish bowl on, she said she'd miss me. I looked at my special places where a lot of different things happened, not just different bad, but different good too. Like winning the sack race, like finding the flashlight, like spinning farther than Jack 3 times in a row, like selling so much lemonade that my dad said that I would probably have to pay taxes. Who knows what taxes are? My dad was just making jokes about paying taxes. I wish he was just making jokes about having to move. I'm not, do you hear me? I mean it, going to move. Nick says I am acting like a puke face. Anthony says I'm being immature. My mom says to say my last goodbye to all the special people. I'm saying goodbye, but it won't be my last. I said goodbye to my friends, especially Paul, who is almost like having another brother, except he doesn't say puke face or immature. I said goodbye to my neighbors, especially Swoozy, who is almost like having a dog, except she's the Baldwin's dog instead of mine. I said goodbye to Rachel, who taught me to stand on my head and whistle with 2 fingers, but she says don't try to do both at the same time. I said goodbye to Seymour, the cleaners, who, even if it's gum wrappers or an old tooth, always saves me the stuff that I leave in my pockets. I said a lot of goodbyes to a lot of people, and I got a lot of hugs and a lot of kisses. Enough hugs and kisses to last for a person's whole life. I said a lot of goodbyes, except I'm staying right here. I'm not going to move. When the movers come to put my bedroom furniture on their truck, maybe I'll barricade the bedroom door. When my dad wants to tie my bicycle to the roof rack on top of the station wagon, maybe I'll look up my bike and bury the key. When my mom says, finish packing, it's time for us to get going, maybe she'll look around and she won't see me. I know places to hide where she'd never find me. Like behind the racks of clothes at Seymour the cleaners, like underneath the piano in Eddie's basement, like inside the pickle barrel at Friendly's Market, or maybe I could hide in the weeds in the lot next to Albert's house, now that I know what poison ivy is. I'd rather have poison ivy than have to move. My dad says it might take a while, but I'll find a new soccer team. He says it might take a while, but I'll end up finding boys my own age. He also says that sometimes when a person moves away, his father might need to let him get a dog to be his friend until he makes new people friends. I think that Swoozy number 2 would be a good name. My mom says it might take a while, but then we'll get a new babysitter. She says it might take a while, but we'll find a cleaners who even saves gum wrappers and old teeth. She also says that sometimes when a person moves away, his mother might let him call his friend, even if it's long distance. I already know his telephone number by heart. Paul gave me a baseball cap. Rachel gave me a backpack that glows in the dark. Mr. and Mrs. Oberdorfer gave us treats to eat for 1,000 miles. Nick says if I'm lonesome in my new room all by myself, that he might even let me sleep with him for a while. Anthony says that Nick is being immature. My dad is packing. My mom is packing. My brothers Nick and Anthony are packing. I don't like it, but I'm packing now too. They better not try to move anymore when we get there, wherever it is that we're going, because this is the last time I'll do it. The next time they won't make me do it. Never, not ever, no way, N-O. I'm not, do you hear me? I mean it, ever gonna move again. Good night, my sweet friends. I hope that you enjoyed the last of these 3 books, and I will see you again on Thursday night with some new bedtime stories. Mwah.